Pregame.com.
Welcome back, Pregame.tv. Steve Fezzik here with Bryan, Leonard, and Brady can't. No. Brady.
He must be on the 18th hole.
Brady must be on the 18th hole. He's very busy with his golf website. He will return next week. For this week, it's Bryan and I. We're breaking down college football action Thursday night. Big game. Florida State, Louisville, unrehearsed, obviously. I don't know. We don't have a play on this game, but we're going to go ahead and try to discuss. Very interesting what the line was open 7. The games of the year, Louisville was actually laying 7. It's all the way down to 3.5 on this game.
Louisville was laying 7?
Louisville was catching 7. I misspoke. Now they're catching 3.5. Maybe they'll be laying 7 if we prorate this line move. I don't think that's going to happen. At some point, Florida State money will show. Bryan, are you surprised by the line move?
I'm just glad you threw the club away because we don't always see eye to eye on these videos. You know, it's interesting. I'm down at the Wynn betting the openers, and I'm waiting in line, and this guy is like itching to bet this game. And he goes, "Can I cut in front of you?" And I says, "Well, it all depends on what you're betting." He goes, "I got one game to play." And I go, "Okay, what is it?" He says, "I'm taking the 7 points for Louisville." I says, "Well, I'm really not interested in that number. Go ahead." He goes, "I'll make it up to you next week." I go, "Okay, fine." Because I had a bunch of plays I was going to make. I didn't want to, you know. But anyway, and he was right. I mean, the line's really come down here. My raw number on this was 4.5 without the situation, without any of that stuff. So I really wasn't interested in it. But I may be interested in it by game time because Louisville's taken a lot of points here, or a lot of money here. I look at the game originally, you know, you find this a lot of times where you don't have anything at the beginning of the week. I'm not interested in that. But as the week goes on, either the more you read or the more people talk to, or where the line's going, it puts you on a game that you don't want to start with. And I think I'm going to be on Florida State in this game if it gets down to 3. Right now we're looking at 3.5. And my thinking on it is you've got a Florida State team obviously off the bye. Even though they're underperforming this year against the spread, I think 1-6 against the spread, and
one
the other
miracle
one's
against Wake Forest.
Miracle.
Yeah.
Which tells you how bad it's been for them against Wake Forest. Has done terribly this year.
3-0 at half.
Yeah. But after Notre Dame, this is their one game they have to worry about the rest of the season because that conference is just so bad. So you take a look at their schedule. This is a game that they got circled on the schedule. They got a week off to prepare for it. And regardless of how they have done against the spread, it's kind of hard to find another team that has more talent. At the end of the year, we may have more NFL players coming out of Florida State than anywhere else. So it's the one game they need to rally around and circle, and they're playing against the Louisville team. Now, granted, the coach is terrific at home. He's always been very good at home. But in this price range, Louisville's pretty good. The defense is great, by the way, but they really haven't played a very tough schedule. Offensively, they're not very good. Florida State's got a far better offense, talent on the defense. Florida State's got better talent. If this gets down to 3, I've got to play Florida State.
I'm going to come over the top. I'm on the other side. Obviously, okay. I'm on the other side at a better number. So at 3, I'd probably be indifferent. But I think that Louisville is going to win the game. And you mentioned this is the one game Florida State has to worry about. They got a cupcake schedule, and I would come over the top and say, well, no, the one game they had to worry about was Clemson, and they should have lost that game. And then, no. The one other game they had to worry about was Notre Dame. Oh, they did lose that game. So here's a team that's already choked twice.
They didn't lose that game.
They lost.
Final score. They go by the final score.
You know, it's interesting with the College Football Rankings Committee, which just came out. I didn't see where it was. But if I was on that committee, both Florida State and Notre Dame have a tie. I'm just going to treat it as a tie. So if they run the table, they're in. They lose one more game, they're out. It's that simple. And I really think they're going to see it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think if the Irish run the table, they deserve to be in.
Yeah, I can't see. Maybe I put Oregon in front of. I don't think so. I think that I would say, hey, they got the best loss. You know, they're a one-loss team. But in this game, I don't want to underestimate it's going to be a blackout in Papa John Stadium. And it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. You talk about, hey, this is the one game that Florida State has. Now, this is the game of the decade for Louisville. This is everything for them. And my experience in situations like that, especially Thursday night, it sure seems like the home dog on a Thursday night. You mentioned off the bye, not as big a deal.
Right.
But it's not like it's 3-day prep time. But I see enough of these games where they're tearing down the goalpost seemingly on a weekly basis that I'll be on Louisville.
How many Louisville players are going to go to the NFL? How many Florida State players are going to go to the NFL? This is a type of game where your talent should win out. Granted, I happen to think Louisville's probably got the better coach. Nothing against the Florida State coach, but Louisville at home, like I said, they've been very good at home, but they've been in a lot of big games over the years, last few years. Louisville's got a pretty good team. I just don't think they're at that level right now. And like I said, the game I wasn't interested in before, if it gets to 3, I can't see how you can not take Florida State.
I don't know though about the NFL argument. By that argument, like UNLV should win like the national championship in basketball. Well, no, in basketball every year because they've got all these NBA marginal team players.
They had one guy 2 years ago, and they haven't had a guy the last 2 years.
Right, well, but they got guys on the practice squad. I mean, you look at the town; they can't beat Colorado State, and they can't beat. Heck, they have trouble beating Air Force.
Well, unfortunately, it's a coaching. He's a great recruiter, but. Yeah, we're getting into basketball season now.
Right,
so.
And we will be talking about how we're going to win in the NBA. So we're basically a split decision on this one. We're on opposite sides, so no official play. I will say this: I do think if you're going to play Louisville, there's a good correlation to parlay Louisville to the under because you're counting on the Louisville defense to keep FSU in check. I think that Louisville is going to get 20, 21, 17, 24 points. They're going to need their defense to cover for them. So that would be my one recommendation is the correlated parlay, the dog, the under. Bryan, if you play the fair, you probably like the over, right?
Not really, because I agree with you. I don't think Louisville's going to score much. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I would agree with that one. Maybe the better play, since we're on opposite side, maybe the play's the under in this game.
Could well be. So a lukewarm recommendation on the under. Actually, I agree with that. My numbers have the total lower. May well be one of my official plays. Stay with us. I'm going to have a free play on the other Thursday game in the NFL. We'll be breaking down the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. Stay with us. Pregame.tv. Good.